It changed my mind. Recommend
Everything it could. There, it's better. Amazed. When people don't believe, whether MK Ultra or they know it, and they're saying things like, I'm here to tell you I am trying. Yeah, just eat them. You're trying to find, what is this, I don't know. Gosh, I'll do it this way, get some lighting in. About my title, again with Havana syndrome and target individuals, I had this sight thing on my left side, and I've had it for, around my teenage years, and I've done it so many times. And I was religious in junior high, high school, and I even went to Bible college studying for the ministry. And when you're religious, you start getting this side pain, and then it starts becoming cold or deadened, and you get these shocks to the side, and it feels like your heart, because that's where you put your head, your hand on your chest. But the chest, the heart's right here. But finding out later, it's a DARPA thing. MK Ultra or MK Tech. There's a book I got off Amazon, and it shows a couple of the directed energy or ELF weapons. And when people get money from a federal agency, and we've been through all this with COVID. We've seen what Doge and the money it goes to, and they're going to clean it up. But some of the money that, it has to do with this brain chip stuff. Like when you start hearing voice to skull and synthetic telepathy, it's people, it sounds too weird. Like they wouldn't do it, unless they were consensually, which they certainly did not ever ask me or tell me anything about this, nor my side pain for 30 years, now 40. I'm almost going to be 54. And I went to doctors. My doctor sent me to specialists. There was no indication of, well, you're part of an experiment, and the hospital or this and that got a bunch of money, but we're not allowed to tell you, and none of it. I had to suffer all these years. They sent me to specialists, which gave me pain meds, which I'm thankful for that. But it's the realization that I shouldn't have gone through the pain in the first place, because I was just being used as a guinea pig. I wasn't a prisoner. The prisoners should not be going through this either, by the way. It shouldn't be done. There's supposed to be due process, and they're putting all these things in the news about people just willy-nilly throwing away due process. And so you get used to the idea of, if they're not you, it's okay. If you're getting money off of their torture or their rights being thrown away, you get used to it. They're not you. And I'm thinking about the people of the town that I'm from. I spent my entire life thinking great people. I didn't have problems. It's a lot, 20,000 people or so. It depends on what parts you think of. But to know and realize quite a few knew about, and they're very proud of their conservative Christian values. And I would have thought, well, good, that's a good thing. But then to weigh that along with being part of this, see, I went all these years thinking that I was having pain on my side, and it minimized your ability your ability to feel your normal emotions, your sense of self. And along a lot of that, I thought, well, maybe I was too religious. I studied and I doubted a lot, and I was trying to build up my faith with apologetics. But your sense of self, like he must increase, I must decrease. It's like, did I do the religious thing too much? Because that's what I thought. It's like I couldn't feel my normal emotions. I had to meditate for a couple hours every day, just trying to concentrate on that area, trying to get to feel. And once, I think I would have 12 times my life for a few hours where you think a miracle's happened. And I was so thankful. And then you just feel normal. Your emotions, your side relaxes, your heart or your directed and whatever. It feels like just like that, like within 5 seconds, or 2 seconds even. It relaxes and your emotions come right back, and it's just instantaneous. And you feel wonderful. You're on cloud nine. You can feel it doesn't hurt anymore. You're looking back, did I take a new pill? Did something happen? Did something make me suddenly put me in a good mood? And you're thinking, well, I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to chase it away, but you want to be able to, whatever it is, repeat it so that you can, but I'm thinking there's nothing different. But I'm just going to enjoy it and thank God for it and hope, but then a few hours later. And it didn't click on me even then that I just didn't know. So you try to reenact or meditate or pray, and you just want that side pain thing to go and to get your emotions, especially when you're just a teenager. And I had gone 30 years, and every day, I don't know how many times praying, just like, or thinking and praying, just what is this? Why can't I? And it's like right here, and I've showed it a couple times, but this area right here, it's right here, and you probably can't see it, but there's actually a red line of broken capillaries right in this area. Just broken capillaries that are around it. Now, the first couple times I went to they started doing all these weird scenarios in my town. And just holding up the phone, taking your video and acting weird, and sometimes being just rude or talking about things only you would know. And just, you're like, well, what is this? And it seems like such a weird thing. And then I almost died because of this program, and I had to learn to walk again. And now that I know it is targeted, it was around 2015, 2016, they were talking about Havana syndrome. Havana syndrome was in the news a lot. All these people getting hit through the arms and the body and the head and just all this stuff. And I'm convinced it's what target individuals have too. It's brain-computer interface. Some of just implantables, at least me for sure. It goes right on my side, and you get these zaps through your nervous system, just boom, out of the blue. And you can even have synthetic telepathy, which is hearing people talk. In my case, a guy and a gal, just about what you're thinking about privately. And they are that far advanced. 60 Minutes won't act like they are, but and they're trying to see, it's just a program like the CIA has. And it's like, I never wrote anything against the CIA or the FBI, or I knew there was good people in both, I'm sure, but I didn't know anybody. I didn't piss anybody off. I didn't go writing things. I think I watched a couple videos like everybody in the world has, whether conservative or liberal, about, what happened with 9/11, but I wasn't fanatical about it. There was no justification for anybody to do this. I was most friendliest in my class, in class of 89 at Dallas. Most likely to be teaching scientific creationism because I gave one or two speeches in class, and the only thing is I had scrupulosity, which I view things through a religious lens, like, and of course that faith and doubt, scrupulosity. There's books about it. Normally the Catholics are the best because they've had a history of studying. A longer history of people taking the faith and trying to do everything right, and maybe do it with numbers. With OCD, you do things with numbers or do things perfect, or remember verses like "Be perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect." It's just it swallows up your reality. And in this program, there is what's his name? Project Soul Catcher by Robert Duncan. I don't know if he goes by Tim Emerson but Robert Duncan. And I remember, the lady on the ionosphere, whatever her name, Alana Freeland. In one of her notes that was saying that some of his stuff is hard to document, like his education background, but he's very intelligent, no doubt, so that he went to some Ivy League school. Project Soul Catcher, How to Tame a Demon, another book. The Matrix was like a printed, but I don't know if it came out in book form. You can see him give presentations at MIT. But some of this stuff, he might have passed away from Dew's Havana Syndrome. And if he did, I'm just thankful that he has given speeches to let me and other people know what they're going through. I certainly hope the issues of Project Soul Catcher and the idea of them trying to siphon, I don't know, that's how I interpret it, siphoning your emotions to try to put with AI, not creating emotions on their own. I don't want to be, I've never ever in my life agreed to be a guinea pig, and I don't want to be kept alive. Since I believe in the spirit, the heaven, the afterlife, but I believe with the spirit, not the body resurrection. Now, Paul and the Christian doctrine and Old Testament, there's a debate there. Some people believe just in the resurrection of the body, but I'm more in the immortality of the spirit. I don't want this body because I saw what people in my town did to my body, and they didn't have to. They made it painful. They kept it painful. They kept it quiet and a secret from me. I just ended up feeling the pain all these years, and wondering and praying the whole time, why is this? What is this? And thankfully they showed me. But when you found out, and you got all these books on the subject, all these crazy books that deal with it, like Project Soul Catcher. Let me get some of the other books.
Why hasn't Congress passed legislation law out? In fact, why hasn't it even voted on legislation to claw back these powers? Maybe Congress agrees.
Controlling the Human Mind by Dr. Nick Begich. Surviving and Thriving as a Targeted Individual. Kathy Meadows, it's a positive book. So this, when I get down, this does help me. It's like, but because I spent my life, they programmed all this religious stuff, where it's, you want to have other interests besides just religion and apologetics and doubt and something more apologetics. But then it's like, did my questions and doubts or me taking it too serious and that caused my side pain? I spent like all these years just praying and like, please, I know I tried to do but you just don't know, and you don't believe the people in your town would do something like that to you. There may not be perfect. People use that perfect. Nobody expects perfection, but they certainly do expect you not to be tortured and used as a lab rat, and to not take your mail away when you're trying to reach people in power, congressmen and senators and newspapers, and and then if you do something to put little zaps through your body or your feet and your toes, and they're doing it now, it's one hand, they keep on saying that they want me to go after them, like to help stop it. But then if I do try to, then they start doing little, more zaps and pain, and you can't hear the V2K, so it makes me sound like a nut job, But the invisible crime, target individual synthetic telepathy and global criminal biomedical human experimentation by Michael Fitzhugh Bell. I don't think he does. He wrote in the book that he doesn't have V2K. He views himself as one of the most targeted people too, like a super soldier or something. Now, the biggest influence on me was the Christian faith, and then what would Jesus do and that kind of thing. So, and I was raised in a very Christian community, but it just is really at odds with conservative. The same people who were draining the swamp would go along with this, and knowingly. It's enough to make you say, because of that example, because I was, Jesus, but it's like, is it? Because if that's the example, you will know them by their fruit. You'll know them by their fruit. And the only thing I knew is I was in pain for 30 years, but that doesn't mean I spent that. Well, it's just they couldn't figure it out. No, then you find out. No, it was done intentionally, on purpose, knowingly. It still is. And it's like Havana syndrome for the people in the military. Most of the people, 1,500 in our government. It sucks when people don't believe you, but thankfully the news was showing these stories of these poor people going through it. It's hard because most of the people that have this, that Mark Zaid, the lawyer, he was only taking it from government employees and government workers, and most of them work in the intelligence agencies. So Marco Polis, there's just a bunch of them. Olivia Troy, Mike Pence's one of his chief staffs. A younger guy with great hair, I forget his name though. Secret Service people, Kamala Harris's Secret Service people had Havana syndrome, came down with it. There's like 6 or 7 years of this. And they were talking openly on channels about, yes, this technology is real. They were trying to minimize, maybe it's crickets, they brought in the Jason group, which people just know it. There's been people on the Waters, Jesse Waters, like, no, this is technology. It's out in the open. It's been out in the open for a long time, 50, 60 years. It's directed energy. It's pulse microwave energy, and they're supposed to come out more open with it pretty soon. I mean, they already have because of Havana syndrome. They were talking openly, yes, directed energy weapons and Havana syndrome. The bad thing is this informed consent, and they're still trying to do this shit again of taking away our rights to where your doctor can just put something in your body without telling you. And, he or she is nice. They go to church and they're, or synagogue or something, and they wouldn't. It's like, no. They're a hospital, and I wouldn't have believed it either. I wouldn't have believed it. And the people or the police, if they got wind of it, they would not put up with this. This is a drain the swamp town. Christian, proud of it, but they wouldn't go along with putting a torture device into a person, hoping they kill themselves, and then hoping to show up at the funeral, and then having a good laugh that they were part of it.
How is it that what we've done and what he's done is unconstitutional?
You know,
But what this court has done
it's that example that says,
there's no effective checks by legal
have you ever thought of Hinduism or something else? You know,
personal policy preferences for the public.
you will know them by their fruit. At least that after I almost did die and had to learn to walk again, they let me know after 30 years they had this, targeted justice. They allowed them to come forward and let me find out what it really was. It really was, I didn't know what it was. They have this whole performance of, it sounds bizarre, but it's designed to make it sound bizarre. So that when you describe it to people, they get money to go along with it. It's like, oh, well, it doesn't matter if it's law enforcement, doesn't matter if it's in a hospital. The deep state, they get money to go along with this shitty program of cruelty. And you think, well, they seem like nice, good people. They wouldn't go along with, and I was like, I would have bet a year's salary that they wouldn't do this. But I'm glad I have the books to, The Invisible Crime. There's a bunch on Amazon and a bunch of stuff, this is Robert Duncan or Tim Emerson. Depends on who you, but, gang stalking and mind control. Some will say that it's not really, it's more like the cell towers, and I'm sure that has to do with it. But mine, I have a bump on my side that I had to take pain meds for all these years. Now it's a weird thing because I'm thankful for my doctors for sending me to specialists. And they gave me pain meds, or at least that's something. They gave me pain meds. And I don't know all the details if they were pressured into or different doctors. It may not have even been them at all. But like non-disclosure agreements, money given to the hospital for NIH or whatever federal agency. It's not a secret. After MK Ultra, after the Church Committee, Kash Patel said, that's what we need to do. Now he's in the FBI. And he knows the stuff is going on. And he's saying he's going to do a church committee. I sincerely hope they're not waiting for me to die so that the people in my town will say, oh, well, if only we had known, they know it. They've known it. They even admitted to me after the third time going, the cop finally it's a federal agency. Well, call them. One of the main guys in the bureau I went to high school with. He's one of the main guys. He was a big football player too. And I'm not trying to cause a stink with. I never cause a stink, but it's just they literally have done this, and you're thinking, I know I had no enemies. I know I didn't do anything to ever hurt it. It's like, because if you have done something, you could find some guilt and that person's mad at me, and that's the reason. Like there really wasn't. There was nothing. I tried to think. Well, one time a lady had separated from her husband and divorced him, like 10 or 11 days, and then she asked me out on a date or something like that. It's like 11 days where she asked me. And it's like, well, aren't you? It's like, no, we are separated on the way to divorce. It's like, oh, well, okay. But even then I felt a little weird, and I left a note in case the guy, if he was to ever hurt me, I understood because his emotions might be a little raw or something. So, but I was trying to think that I'm overly sensitive to not hurt people, which is stupid because I hope they're not trying to, make a copy of my brain or emotions and, my, stand up for your rights. Well, when you're raised evangelical, it's about surrendering your rights. What would, he must increase, I must decrease, not fighting for your rights and all this, and because they found that so attractive, the giving up of rights, and being religious. And that's the problem, where you need to hold on to your rights and fight them. And when they strip you of your emotions, and your fight emotions so you don't feel strong emotions. They just think that's so wonderful. Maybe they could, move that and these people, whether it's DARPA, CIA, FBI, I'm here to tell you, these, even if it is a Christian nation, that's so far. When you're on the right, we're supposed to, Elon Musk, I hope he can build something to help people with these chips, to help people that are, but when it comes to people experimenting, governments experimenting with chips without informed consent, without letting them know, and they just do it. And I'm asking, I hope that they just finally, after 40 years now, don't you think it's time to stop? Let me live my life and so I have my own feelings. I didn't steal your car. I didn't hurt you. They literally think it's okay to look at another person you don't know, and because you're not part of their biological family, that it's okay to steal their ability to feel emotions by putting a device in, or just to see if they can do it, and the effects, just like MK Ultra and radiation. So anyway, I'm so thankful for targeted justice, PACs International, because you can. It's nice to be able to relate to people, because they, at least, there will always be some federal people like January 6th that'll crash pretending to be TIs. And I'm sure the majority of people that, we know that. A lot of the people pretending are just feds pretending to be TIs too. But I'm still glad that we have these chats and calls and books to relate to, because you get stressed and trying to find some hope. So I'm thankful for Anna Toledo and Richard Lighthouse and Len Baer, and just Dr. Len Baer and Frank and Roy, just a bunch of, I would go through the whole Tranquility. I don't want to miss it. It's just thank you. And I pray you keep bringing this stuff out there for encouragement. So, and I thank you. It does encourage the message and spiritual encouragement too of the faith. So thank you. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. I got to go to the store. So it was pretty heavy, but I just wanted to get that out there in case somebody else went through the same thing with their side pain or Havana syndrome, and they're not feeling like they're normal, like their emotions are stripping. And what did I do? Is there something? And to have somebody tell them, so that maybe there can be some research, get some kind of shielding that might help. When it's implanted, it's a little harder because you have to literally go in there and take it out, which I might just. I don't want them to do a chip, and then if I take it out, have the chip go intentionally because I took the thing out, but I don't know if it's connected to some, I don't know. But I just don't want them to, if I was to do something like that, have them instantly take the chip and then do something. And then that's, that's just always good, Anyway, this needs to be made illegal. And I'm not looking for, I've tried to take everything out of the way. I'm not trying to get rich off this. I don't care about them. I just want that taken out so I can feel my emotions and not have the painful thing. If there was to be money, because there should be, then I would take all of it and give it to other people that need this because of similar experimentation, or do they just medically need it? So, but I'm not looking for that. But if there was, let it be for people that need it. So with their medical stuff. So. All right, this is Alan Burr-Nielsen. I've done tons of letters to government people. And I don't know. Even with this new administration, a bunch of them for each side. FBI, attorney generals. I just have my cats just, President Trump, of course, I left 3 messages on the White House where you can leave messages Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The PAX International have the numbers, so I hope they can and will do something because they know about these shenanigans. And the Fusion Center, watch out for them.